Welcome to Study Garage, and today I'm super excited to show you my brand new LEGO MOC Car, the Type S2B, or what I started to call the Stub. Now, the name may sound extremely intricate, but I'll tell you what, its origins are actually very lame in reality, but we'll get to why I named it that and why I skipped the interior in that initial montage in 1 second. Now, the reason I say this is because I completed this car the day after I dropped the SGA Legacy video, which was almost 2 weeks ago. But also, the day after I dropped that video, I got sick. So I wasn't really motivated or, in the right headspace to make any videos. So I had left this car sitting, and in that 2 weeks, I was constantly coming up with new ideas and new designs to integrate into this car. And I feel like now this car is at a point that there is just nothing else to do because I've given it every bell and whistle I could possibly think of. And I'll admit now that the initial reason why I built this car is actually within the interior and is a really lame reason. And we'll get there in a second because we're actually going to start up at the front bumper. So let's start up at the front bumper where I tried to make this car closely resemble the SGA Legacy while still having its own personality. And a few of my favorite details are up here on this front bumper, but we'll start with the lower bumper where all of these, I guess what you could call angle plates are. The triangle plates, where these things create the perfect rounded off angle for a lower bumper. And I didn't design them to do this, but if you look at them at a certain angle, they kind of remind me of the 7th generation Corvette Stingray. And moving up from the lower bumper only slightly is a little spicy detail, which is this little gap in between the grille and that lower bumper, which I don't actually know if this is a real functional thing that would be in a real car, but it does add a little bit of spice, a little bit of character. But then the last detail I want to point out on the front bumper are these headlights. I have quickly become a huge fan of using these metallic silver pieces that I got from a LEGO James Bond Aston Martin Speed Champion. And boy, these things just have a natural glow / shine to them. They are the perfect headlight. And then also, if you look at the headlight housing, I'm just really proud of this build because of the way that I was able to really round off the bumper in between that headlight and those triangle wedge things. And you'll actually see how this headlight housing stays in place because we're going to remove the bumper and move on to the next location, which is right inside the engine bay to reveal this boutique, bespoke, beautifully designed inline 6. And moving on to the side profile, probably one of the most normal looking cars that I've ever built. But that means like shape wise because this thing is still gorgeous, in my opinion. But when looking at the side profile of this car, it really does reveal that this thing is a common man sports car coupe that still looks super exciting. Partly because of that gigantic wing on the back trunk. And speaking of the wing, let's move on back to the wang of the car. Check it out. This thing has a few unique details, but the only one that's worth really sharing with you is the fact that this spoiler was originally 1 stud wide. And I mean, this thing looked so out of place. It was such an aggressive car, and then it got to this little wimpy spoiler. And once I added that second row of studs, this thing just came together and completed the JDM unique coupe look while still being minimalistic enough to pass as a BMW. And since we're in the back, check out this final exterior detail of the car before we get into the interior, the taillights that took 2 weeks. Now, I'll actually show you the original design of these taillights right here. This is what they looked like for 2 weeks, cycling in and out of so many designs. And literally 2 days ago, I decided on changing it up to this right here and immediately fell in love with it. It was a match made in heaven. They are quirky and funky enough to be fun for a common man sports car, but also classic looking and beautiful. And in between them, I lied, is another cool detail, a fully functional trunk. Of course. Now for this next detail, some of you may think that I am super weird for being this excited about such a weird detail. But this is actually how this car got its name. I'm so excited about it. People who have seen my past car mocks may have noticed, may have not, that I never Bro, I never have a back seat. And that's because there's usually like a wall right behind the driver's seat that supports the roof over the cabin, which means also that in these cars, the A-pillar is usually just for show. But in the Type S2B, we have fully functional A-pillars due to the fact that we have a brand new roof design allowing us to fit back seats. Bro, check them out. You can put the kids back there. I don't know about coworkers if they're tall or friends, but you could put a small child back there and drive around. But you know what? Really cool friends would cram themselves into this car to ride with you. And believe it or not, this is the first ever mock car I've ever built with back seats, which may be super lame to some, but it's worth a celebration over here. But the second and last detail that I'll share with you today are the interiors of the doors, because check it out, we finally have fully customized interiors of doors. But the last detail I want to share with you are the side view mirrors, due to the fact that they seem to have their own realistic mounting points on the side of the doors. And if you open the doors, they don't move, which now that I think about it, may be a design flaw. But this is everything that I wanted to show you on the S2B, which, by the way, sports car, 2 back seats. Simple as that. That is so lame, but that's how we get S2B, or the Stub. And in filming this, I guess the only detail that I really missed was a speedometer, but guess what? There's always next time. With that, love y'all, stay creative, take it easy, peace.